On this James the Bike Guy, we're taking a look at the Fox 34 Stepcast. This is a pretty amazing and awesome fork from Fox, and we're looking at the factory 29 version of the fork. Now what's really amazing about this fork is it's a 34 millimeter stanchion at the weight of a really lightweight standard 32 millimeter stanchion fork. So basically it gives you the ability to both have the super lightweight performance of a cross-country race fork, but the stiffness of a trail fork. So taking a look at this, what makes this happen is it's got the Stepcast design, and that's a little bit narrower format to the fork. It's using these much lighter weight lowers on the fork, and it allows the fork to be able to be quite a bit lighter. They claim that it's about half a pound lighter than the 34 factory with the standard chassis. Now, the other neat thing about it is when we were talking about stiffness, this fork is supposed to be just as stiff as the factory 34 standard chassis in 140 millimeter travel, and then it's going to be about 15% stiffer than the standard long travel 32 millimeter trail fork. And this is still going to have clearance for those plus size tires. So this can run a 29 or a 27.5 plus up to a 3-inch wide tire. And down low, it's going to have Boost 110 spacing. Now what's really neat is this is going to use what Fox calls Cabolt, and that's a flush through axle. So it's got clocking on the drive side, and then on the non-drive, you're going to have a 6 millimeter Allen to remove this through axle bolt. It's going to keep it both a lot lower in profile as well as a bit lighter as well. Another thing that differentiates this from a standard 34 is this is going to have a dedicated air spring and damper tune, because with the lighter weight and the change in performance, they need to be able to have those match up so that the performance is exactly where you want it to be. Now when we talk about weight savings, we talked about earlier how the lowers are going to be lighter than the standard 34 version, but the other neat thing is the damper shaft on this, which is a Fit 4. This damper shaft is actually an 8 millimeter damper shaft, which is the same size as what you would get on the 32 Stepcast. So you're getting that dedicated air spring and damper tune that is set up for the travel range of this fork with the smaller diameter damper on the inside, which doesn't affect any of the stiffness or that sort of performance, but it allows for the fork to be quite a bit lighter. The 34 Stepcast can be adjusted in different travel ranges. Your max travel on this is 120 millimeters, but you can step it down to 110 if you choose. And then because this is a performance version, this uses what Fox calls their Kashima coat, which is an ultra slick coating on the stanchions to allow this to be really smooth and very, very supple. You'll have an aluminum crown and then an aluminum steerer on this that goes from 1.5 inches to 1 1/8. The fork will also come in different offsets. In the 29er, you can get it in a 44 millimeter offset or in a 51 millimeter offset. You do have the Evolve air damper cartridge, so you can run spacers inside of here to help dial in exactly the tune that you want. And you're going to be able to have either a 3-position with a lever adjustment, or you can get a 2-position remote with adjustment, and on-off essentially. And then you're going to also have a finer tune adjustment for your open mode damping. Now of course this is a disc brake fork, and it's going to have post mount 160, so it's going to have room for you to use a 160 millimeter rotor directly mounted on the fork lower. So now that we've taken a look at some of the features, let's go ahead and test out the claim of just how light this fork is. So this Fox 34 Stepcast on our scale in a 29er version weighs in at a extremely light 1,659 grams. That is super light. That's almost a full pound lighter than a traditional trail fork. Well, thanks for watching this video on the Fox 34 Stepcast. Go ahead and let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. hit the subscribe button if you haven't already, and then leave a thumbs up if you enjoyed the video.